What's going on, everyone? So we got a video here, PS5 Pro 1 year later. It is something to think about because it has literally been pretty much 1 year. And after that 1 year passing, we have to think, is it worth getting one now since you waited that 1 year? You know FSR4 is coming out next year. We know GTA got delayed, but are we really only going to get a console for that? Yeah, probably some people would, though, because that was a thing back in the days. And everything will just be more optimized by then. Could you be able to get a deal with Sony do that? Who knows what's going to be going on these holidays? But I know I've been seeing some deals going on. But in this video with Gaming Boat, we go over, he goes over, should you get one now? So, like and subscribe, let's get into this. Let me know what you guys think.
The PlayStation 5 has largely been a success for Sony, overcoming its early supply chain problems to become a popular option for players looking to enjoy the best experiences from talented developers.
Yeah.
The original console pushed the boundaries of what a console could achieve, bringing 60 FPS gameplay, 4K visuals, ray tracing support, and so much more to the table. And then came the PS5 Pro. It was built to overcome the PS5's limitations, with having to choose between improved resolutions and frame rates being a main factor.
Agreed on that because there's things that you would do performance on. Like, of course, I have a Pro too. And I was playing Alan Wake 2 last night. Loving it, by the way. And the performance mode that you would get on the base, like the resolution would be pretty low. With the Pro, you would basically take that and put up everything, put up all those settings, and keep that 60 frames per second. So it is nice because Mark Cerny said, I don't know if you guys remember last year, majority of players, like 77%, choose performance mode. Because games look so good, already, and you want that smooth feeling when you're playing. So I don't blame people for that. And that's the nice thing about the Pro is that it does do that. And then, you got the VRR fidelity setting as well. Obviously, the PSSR had issues at first, but all that's gone now. So the beta testing phase is pretty much over with. You know what I mean? So it's up to you if you want to get it now. Obviously, if I would give you any advice, trade in your current base PS5 at GameStop, get that deal, and not spend that much. That's what I did. I only paid like 380 for mine. Plus, I had other stuff around too. But yeah, that's the nice thing. So. And the way I look at this too, it's obviously not entry level. Most people are just going to want that base PS5. I'm telling you right now that you got some good deals with that and getting some premium with that, definitely in Europe. So look for that as well if you were thinking about that. But this is about the Pro though. So I think now more than ever, if you don't want to go to PC gaming and you are sick of Xbox too as well, you can get all their games over there on higher settings. It's just a no-brainer.
However, with the PS5 Pro, Sony promised to remove that painful choice with 4K 60 FPS gameplay, AI upscaling, a boost to performance that would set the mid-gen console apart. And it seems like the PS5 Pro does have its takers despite initial skepticism about the need for an upgrade.
Yeah.
The argument that games were barely making the most of the PS5 as it was.
True.
But now that a full year has passed, has this powerhouse been worth the time, effort, and its price tag? Let's dive in and find out. A solid design and a premium build. While the PS5 Pro's design might find the same criticisms as the original console, there is no denying that it stands out from the crowd. But more importantly, it's a design that ensures optimal cooling, and we're yet to hear our fans spin fast enough for them to be noisy. As far as reliability is concerned, the PS5 Pro continues to be a solid offering from Sony. While our base PS5 has thrown out a few warnings about overheating when we put it through its paces, the Pro is yet to break a sweat and seems well suited to long gaming sessions with no drops in performance whatsoever.
True. Like the first game I played on there was Ghost of Yotei because I got mine late and I did the ray tracing 60 frames per second. Guys, no noise. I was playing Alan Wake 2 last night, tried all three settings, and no noise, no problem. It's running fine. So yeah, that's definitely true, and that definitely matters.
However, we're well aware that it's only been a year since the PS5 Pro, and it's going to be interesting to see games like GTA 6 push it to its limits later down the line. As far as comparisons with the PS5 Slim are concerned, well, we'd say that the Pro is a different console aimed at different players. The Slim is still a perfectly suitable option for those of you who don't mind a slightly lower resolution or frame rate as long as games run well enough for you to play them. But for those of you who'd like your games to look and feel the best that they can, well, the Pro is still the one for you. Pro performance. Of course, there are players who can always overlook a design that they don't like on a machine that performs as promised, and on that.
Yeah, but I'm not playing the look of the console. Nobody's gonna keep staring at their PC when they built their rig and just looking at it and play. You know what I mean? No. what can you do on my screen? Because I'm playing the game on there. You know what I mean? I don't care about that.
That front, the PS5 Pro does bring its beefier GPU and PSSR to the fray, and it's been a solid for the most part. You might argue that developers aren't really making use of most of its features, but several of 2025's releases have justified having that extra power under the hood. When it comes to sustaining 4K at 60 FPS, the PS5 Pro continues to flex its muscles, which is especially true for games that come with a dedicated mode. It's enough of an upgrade over the base PS5 to justify that extra cash you'd spend on it, while its frame pacing and upscaling performance do a great job for the most part. However, there have been complaints about how PSSR handles upscaling in certain specific instances, but those are far enough from each other and nothing that a few updates or patches can't handle. For instance, Star Wars.
I agree with him on that because it's like when you think about a PC when you're building the rig, are you really thinking about something like that, or what is the rasterization compared to the other? Like these specs are clearly better. This is a better built PC than that other PC. So no matter what, I'm going to get that regardless. Now, if the PSSR is an option, I can just turn that off and still continue playing with those benefits that I would always get from upgrading my PC before this AI upscaling became a huge thing. And for the most part, there's really no problem now. Like they fixed all of that. And then there's some games, like I said, you could just, you could turn it off or use TSR or have different pro options, and it's no problem. All that stuff's gone now, but that was the early beta testing base, and that's stuff we were talking about. That's the stuff I criticized. But now all that's gone. And then, we're going to get another update when FSR 4 comes out. So that's going to be another, is it worth it now? And that's obviously going to be yes. So this is just the 1 year check-in.
Wars Jedi Survivor, Days Gone, and a few others suffered from image quality issues that made their PS5 versions better options. However, games like the Callisto Protocol, Alan Wake 2, and several others have been quite solid on the PS5 Pro. Ultimately, it's important to remember that PSSR is only a year old and is sure to improve as time goes on, but more on that in a bit.
Any console.
Ray tracing and balanced modes are certainly becoming common for the powerhouse, and having them on while you experience either a familiar title or a brand new one continues to give us a reason to smile at our screens. Exploring Ezio in Ghost of Yote, for instance, has been nothing short of a visual treat, with ray tracing and 60 FPS making the entire experience feel quite different to the one you get on a base PS5. Sucker Punch also stands out for its deft use of the DualSense controller, using the touchpad and gyroscope to bring immersive, unique touches to the experience. It showcased how the controller can be integrated into a game quite well, and was better than the majority of titles whose focus was either on haptics or the adaptive triggers. There are notable exceptions, of course, but things can and should be better on this front. Perhaps Stalker 2 could change that. As far as PSSR and its ability to improve on your gaming experience is concerned, it does hold up against its rivals well enough to be taken seriously. If Sony manages to sustain the momentum it has garnered, the technology could be quite the console seller when the PS6 eventually comes around.
Yeah, I mean, PSSR is pretty much, like I said, the beta design into FSR 4. That's pretty obvious, no doubt about that, because it's not meant to stay. They're going to replace it. So they had that there to learn, which I feel like there should have been a bit of a delay, but hey, we're here now, and there's nothing you can do about that, and we got to keep going. But I'm liking what I have now, because none of those problems are there, and I waited. Got a good deal.
The Pro's popularity. As far as developer and player adoption is concerned, the PS5 Pro seems to be a popular option. There are a ton of titles that come with Pro-enhanced features from both first-party and third-party developers. Many popular titles do come with a notable difference to how they perform on the base PS5 and the Pro, with better graphics, ray tracing, and performance options for the latter. Guerrilla Games has been a noteworthy use of the PS5 Pro to bring Horizon Forbidden West and its remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn to a level of polish that makes them stand out. Sucker Punch made excellent use of the Pro's capabilities to make its take on ancient Japan stand out from Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's not
Sony's engines are always amazing.
Not to say that developers outside of Sony's umbrella of studios are falling behind. Enhanced versions of games like F1 25 and Gran Turismo 7 have been great examples of third-party studios making good use of their expanded skill set of the PS5 Pro. However, there have been versions of games that have just been higher resolution versions of the original releases. It's largely been up to different studios and the amount of resources they have towards developing Pro-enhanced versions of their games. But on balance, the PS5 Pro has managed to make a name for itself on the landscape of modern gaming as far as developers are concerned. But what about the players? Are all of the console's bells and whistles enough to justify its hefty price tag? Well, on that front, it's still a console for absolute enthusiasts who simply want the best possible graphics and performance from their consoles.
That's what I
But for
think.
more casual gamers who may not have a display capable of 120 FPS or incredible resolutions, the base PS5 is still more than enough.
Yeah.
A great software experience. Of course, the user interface and the games on offer are equally important on a console that's currently the flagship of a long line of great gaming platforms. The user interface on the PS5 Pro maintains Sony's clean UI elements, presenting your most recent games right up front of your app queue, while new additions such as the new tabs and the ability to customize your wallpaper are all welcome additions to the experience. Granted, there is a firmware update that's slated to give the Pro's PSSR capabilities a significant boost. Announced in March 2025, that could just be around the corner and could address several issues in upscaling on a long list of games. If you've been waiting on a fix for one of your favorite titles, well, this holiday season might just be a great time to upgrade. As far as the PSVR 2 is concerned, there are a few titles that come with the PS.
I mean, yeah, there's a crowd for that. I understand. That's kind of the VR kind of reminds me, though it's a little bit bigger, of the handheld crowd on PC, which I guess is very niche. But he's right though. I would look for a deal now because holidays usually have deals. You can get deals on TVs and everything. Now is the time to really think about it. Or, if it's no problem to you, wait for FSR 4.
PS5 Pro enhanced versions, but we're going to have to wait and see if that list continues to grow enough to justify their existence. It's good that the DualSense continues to be a great controller even on the Pro, and its Elite version is among our favorites. Has the PS5 Pro been welcome? Although the Pro has been praised for the improved potential for developing stunning, well-performing games, its inconsistent upscaling performance and its price continues to be pain points for Sony's behemoth. It's expensive enough to be an upgrade that's out of many budgets, and its benefits might not justify its purchase for such consumers. However, for titles that make use of its capabilities well, their Pro Enhanced versions are excellent ways to enjoy the experiences that they have to offer. Death Stranding 2 on the beach is a great example of that.
Need to play that.
It's also important to look at the PS5 Pro as the predecessor to the PS6, whenever that does come along. The Pro's very existence and its development cycle has already fueled speculation about the next big leap for Sony's gaming powerhouse. That might be a great reason for many PS5 owners to skip the Pro altogether. It also raises questions about the need for mid-gen upgrades to popular consoles. But if 2025 has been any indication, there have also been many excellent titles whose visuals and performance have benefited from more power under the hood. Modern gaming seems to only have just begun making use of the PS5 and the Pro, and there is a strong argument to be made for the PS5 Pro's presence on Sony's lineup.
That's how I feel about it too. Like I feel like Sony should not launch the PS6 guys till 2028. Give this enough time, fully optimize everything, because this generation got screwed over too. Definitely with some supply stuff at the beginning, and then the Unreal Engine 5, all this rushed and unbroken stuff, cancel stuff. I think 2028 would be a better target for PS6, but who knows though? I mean, I just feel like they should do that, and they're going to be fine because they can just sell more.
A year later, the PS5 Pro continues to be a worthy presence in modern gaming, allowing PlayStation fans who want the very best gaming experience from the console. Its brilliant spec sheet and Sony's touches make it a powerful console that's held back only by its prohibitive pricing. But would we recommend the upgrade? Well, for PS5 owners, the Pro makes sense only if you have the display for it. For those of you on other platforms, the PS5 Pro is the one to get if you can fork over the extra cash for it. Sony's lineup of exclusive titles continues to be a solid reason for you to take that plunge. As far as the future, there is plenty to be excited about. AMD and PS5 architect Mark Cerny recently discussed Project Amethyst, unveiling 3 pillars: neural arrays, radiance cores, and universal compression, as the next wave of Sony and AMD graphics tech.
Basically, pretty much focusing on sunlight in the most complex ways, because those guys realize that coding, which is kind of funny. But yeah, he's pretty much right. Like right now, it could be if you can get it and it's no problem. But there's people saying, I want to see what that FSR4 is going to do as well. That's what I'm saying. You could wait till that as well. There's no reason to rush. But if you see a good deal, why not get ahead early and get it? If not, it's definitely not a mandatory upgrade, but it's for people who can get it and for people who want that best experience. So that's kind of like my take on it too. I got it because I wanted to get out the way. I wanted that Ghost of Yota experience. You tell me I get ray tracing 60 frames, 4K. What? what? It's like, okay, Unreal Engine, this just shows how pathetic you guys are being over there. Sony's coming out embarrassing you big time with with the specs of the PlayStation 5 Pro. I mean, you could go to a PC that blows away the Pro, right? Like my setup right here is definitely more powerful than the Pro when it comes to CPU and RAM. My GPU is better too, but not a whole lot better, but definitely better though. Probably about 8 teraflops more. Uh, and I have to tell you, if I put on an Unreal Engine 5 game, you think I'm going to get ray tracing 4K 60? Yeah, it's not native, obviously, but still, you're going to get that ray tracing 60 upscaled like that to 1800p? Hell no. You want to know what the problem is? It's not these specs, guys. It's the rushed, unfinished nonsense that I get tired of. It's the shader compilation, stuttering. It's just all this stuff where you knew if it was been out this long. Remember that Matrix Unreal Engine 5 demo? Why are we almost 5 years into it and it's still doing that? It's just that they literally beta tested this whole gen on purpose. So it's not really the PS5 Pro that's the problem. It's the Unreal Engine 5. It's not your PC that's the problem. Actually, the hardware and technology we had was pretty much fine, even Switch technology. But when you do that and deceive people so that you can sell more cards, because we know how NVIDIA just monopolized everything, and who supported that? The PC base. That's what I'm telling people. Don't be hypocrites. Then you realize what the problem is. So yeah, this is a pretty good video. Let's finish this out.
For PS5 Pro's near future, the software learning pieces should matter first. Smarter PSSR via ML efficiency and broader in-flight compression that steadies 4K recon, asset streaming, and 60/120 FPS targets. The heavy lifting from dedicated Radiance cores is PS6 class, but the R&D behind it will still trickle down as better hybrid RT techniques and tooling on the PS5 Pro. The PS5 Pro continues to be a beast of a console for those that can find the right uses for it. And that'll be about
pretty much it. So let me know what you guys think about this. This is a 1-year check-in. You kind of get some more up-to-dates. The problems that you were worried about when it first came out is gone. Obviously, we don't like the price, but guess what, though? They raised up the value of the PS5 trade-in at GameStop, too, to kind of almost match that. So if there's that deal still going on, you can trade that in, save yourself money. You're not spending that money. And hopefully you can get a premium deal, too. But let me know what you guys think about this. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. As you know, as always, just bringing you some great stuff later. And somehow my Twitter account is preventing me from logging in. And I'm kind of annoyed about that because there's some stuff I want to farm, but gotta wait. Later, y'all.